Hello and welcome. Whether you have been here before or you just found this video, I'm really glad that you're here. My name is Karen and this is my ESL Listen-Along Series, where I read my own book aloud, chapter by chapter, to help you grow your English through real adult storytelling. The book is called Of Fire and Fate, and I wrote it, which means I get to read it to you with absolute zero guilt. Here is how it works. I'll read you one chapter, then I will come back and we will look at some of the vocabulary, idioms, and language highlights from that chapter together. You can simply listen, treat it like an audiobook, or if you want to read along with me, you can find the book on Amazon, paperback or Kindle. The link is in the description. Before we start, a quick but important note. This is an adult book. It contains explicit sexual content, themes of domestic abuse and trauma, and some other difficult topics including violence and pregnancy loss. It is written for readers 18 and over. If that is not you, no problem at all. My Dr. Dolittle series is completely family friendly and linked in the description below. Today we're starting at the very beginning, the prologue. And I'm not going to tell you too much because I want the writing to do the work. What I will say is this. We meet our main character Seraphine at the most dangerous and most important moment of her life so far. She is making a decision that can't be undone. Find your page if you have the book, get comfortable, and I'll see you on the other side. Prologue. Seraphine. The pain is familiar. It sits under my skin, steady and constant, making every breath a decision. But tonight something has changed. His anger is louder, sharper, and he wants the submission I have never given, the submission I will never give. He leads the community. They call him the Prophet. Our stone house is meant to be a place of faith and peace. People say I am blessed, chosen. We live far from any town, and after dark, only firelight fills our rooms. Lamps, candles, the hearth. Electricity is forbidden, a modern temptation. The others see only his friendly smile. They never see his fists, or the bruises I hide under long sleeves or the forced smiles. I remember the first time, even though I wish I could forget. It was 3 months after our wedding when I let my guard down. I laughed at something the baker's wife said, a real laugh, the first in weeks. In the crowd, he grabbed my elbow, his fingers pressing hard through my sleeve. To everyone else, he looked like a caring husband. They didn't see his thumb digging into my arm, or hear the warning in his soft voice. Careful, my dear, your joy is unseemly. That night, he explained in his ever so calm, patient voice how the prophet's wife must be dignified and reserved. He reminded me that my parents had given me to him as an offering, a sacred trust, and that any happiness not focused on serving him was a betrayal. When I tried to argue, saying I was only being polite, he looked at me with cold grey eyes and said the words that would haunt me every day after. You belong to me now. Your thoughts, your words, your very breath, all mine to shape. The bruise on my arm lasted 2 weeks. I learned to stop laughing in public after that. That day, it started over nothing, a conversation with a farmer in the square, asking about crop rates. As his wife, as the prophet's wife, I must be polite. Yet the moment the oak door clicked shut behind us, his accusation was a venomous stream. His voice rose, each word a shard of glass ripping through the small, dim parlour. Then his hands followed. The way he touches me has never been a caress. It has always been a brand, a possessive stamp intended to eliminate any trace of me. He calls it wifely duty. I call it an endless frozen hell. The mere thought of his skin on mine turns my blood to solid ice. Everything blurs with fear. A brass lamp falls, breaking the silence. A chair scrapes across the floor, and then the real noise starts. His shadow towers over me, smelling of oil and anger. My body moves instinctively, driven by the need to survive, searching for anything to stop him. My hand closes around something heavy, smooth with age and weighted with iron. Time fractures, fragments of awareness slam into me in rapid succession. The weight of the candlestick in my palm is heavier than I expected. The metal base is still warm from sitting near the hearth since day's end. My fingers cramping from gripping it so tightly, recognize its shape from hundreds of evenings spent polishing it, maintaining his household, playing the perfect wife. The sound of my own breathing, ragged and harsh, like an animal's. When did I start making that sound? His shadow, vast and solid, blocks out the lamplight. I can smell him, but underneath it all, that cologne the community women cooed over. "The prophet always smells divine," they'd say. My body moves before my mind catches up. Some ancient part of me. The part that existed before I learned to flinch, before I taught myself to fold smaller and smaller to avoid his notice. That part surges forward. The candle holder rises in an arc that feels both impossibly slow and blindingly fast. I see his eyes in that final moment, not afraid, surprised. As if, even now, even as I'm fighting back, he cannot believe I would dare, can't conceive of a world where his property might resist. My arm keeps moving, and suddenly I know this is the moment. After this, nothing will be the same. Either he stops me and I face whatever punishment he chooses, or I'm free. The word echoes through my mind like a prayer, like blasphemy, like both. Free, free, free. I swing. Crack! A sickening thud vibrates up my arm, through my chest, and then silence. The world narrows to the floorboards, to the dark pool spreading like ink across the wood. He lies sprawled, motionless. His face is mercifully turned away. The candlestick trembles in my grip, slick and heavy. I can't look at it. I can't look at him. He isn't moving. The community. They will never believe me. They won't see the years of terror, the bruises, the way he systematically broke me down after my parents offered me to him as tribute. They will only see the prophet, the martyred torchbearer. They will only see the ungrateful wife who dared raise a hand against their God. They will say, I am cursed. I can't stay. My chest is tearing apart. My vision is a wet mess, but instinct drives my legs towards the door. I don't grab clothes. I don't look back. If I look back, I will become a statue of grief and shatter right here. To them, he was the one they revered. To me, he was the one I feared. I run. Whew. So, that was the prologue. Heavy, right? I did not ease us in gently, but that is exactly why this book is so good for your English, because real, powerful writing gives us so much to work with. So let's do that. Let's work with it. I want to look at 5 words from the prologue that are really worth adding to your vocabulary bank. These are not obscure, rarely used words. These are words that you will meet again and again in adult fiction, in conversations, and in real life. The first one is submission. Seraphine said her husband wants the submission she has never given. Now, submission is a noun. The verb is to submit, and this word has several lives. It changes meaning depending on the context. In this story, it means surrendering your will to someone else, giving in completely. But you also hear to submit, meaning to send something. Please submit your application by Friday. Or in sport, a submission in wrestling or martial arts means forcing your opponent to give up. Same word, very different situations. Context is everything. 2. Unseemly. The prophet tells Seraphine that her joy is unseemly. Unseemly means inappropriate, not fitting for the situation. It has a slightly old-fashioned formal feel to it, which is perfect for this character. A modern person might say that's not a good look, but the prophet says unseemly. This word choice tells you everything about who he is. If you hear this word in real life, it usually means someone disapproves of behavior they consider undignified or embarrassing. 3rd, and this one is beautiful, instinctively. My body moves instinctively. Instinctively is an adverb. It comes from the noun instinct. Something you do instinctively happens automatically, without thinking, driven by a deep, natural impulse. You might say when the car skidded, I instinctively grabbed the door handle, or she instinctively knew something was wrong. It suggests the body or mind acting faster than conscious thought. And in this moment for Seraphine, it's exactly what is happening. 4. Systematically. I wrote that the prophet systematically broke her down. Systematically means doing something in a methodical, deliberate, step-by-step way. It's not random. It is planned. When you add that word to broke her down, it becomes so much more sinister, doesn't it? It wasn't just cruelty, it was organized cruelty, intentional. You might use this word in a much lighter context. She systematically worked through every item on her list. But here, it carries real weight. And number 5, venomous. His accusation was a venomous stream. Venom is the poison of a snake or a spider. Venomous is an adjective, means full of that poison, but we use it constantly in everyday English to describe words, looks, or behavior that feel toxic and deliberately hurtful. She gave him a venomous look. His words were venomous. It is a vivid, powerful word. Once you have it, you'll start noticing it everywhere. Now, idioms. And this prologue gave us a beautiful one. I let my guard down. Seraphine says, I laughed, a real laugh, the first time in weeks. I had let my guard down. To let your guard down means to stop being careful and defensive, to relax your self-protection, even briefly, and become vulnerable. It comes from boxing. Keeping your guard up means holding your arms in to protect your face. Letting it drop leaves you open to attack. But we use this idiom in everyday life constantly. I don't let my guard down easily with new people. She finally let her guard down and told him the truth. The moment he let his guard down, they caught him. There is something devastating about it in this context, because for Seraphine, one small, genuine moment of happiness, one real laugh, is enough for him to punish her. She can't even let her guard down for a laugh. This is powerful, and now you have the idiom to describe it. And I want to leave you with something to think about, something to maybe leave in the comments below. Near the end of the prologue, Seraphine hears one word in her mind as she acts. The word is free. And I wrote, and I think this is a beautiful line, that the word felt like a prayer, like blasphemy, like both. A prayer is something sacred, something you say with hope. Blasphemy is something forbidden, a word or act that goes against your faith. It's dangerous. It's a transgression. So my question for you is this. Why does Seraphine feel that the word free is both a prayer and blasphemy at the same moment? What does that tell us about the world that she's been living in? Think about it. There's no single right answer. This is about interpretation, about feeling your way into the language and the story. And that kind of thinking, that is advanced English in action. Leave your answers in the comment. I generally want to know what you think. That's it for the prologue. Next week we move into chapter 1, and I promise you things begin to shift. Make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss it, and if you have the book, brilliant. If not, the link is in the description below. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves.